All right, everyone, welcome to the video answer key for homework section 5.1. Let's get going. So what I have here first is I'm supposed to test each one of these values to see if they are a solution to that inequality. There's a couple ways that I could choose to do this. I could substitute those values into that equation one at a time and continually test to see if it is a solution. What I'm going to choose to do instead is I'm going to solve for u. And then you'll see how that helps me do this quite a bit quicker than just plugging numbers in and doing that repeatedly. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this darn thing, folks. We've got negative 13 is greater than or equal to 7u plus 8. What I'm going to choose to do is subtract. I'm going to solve for u again, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, which is going to give me negative 21 is greater than or equal to 7u. Then I'm going to divide by 7, which is going to get me negative 3 is greater than or equal to u. And so I prefer to look at inequalities. When I look at them, I like to have my variable on the left side. So what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to take this inequality and I'm going to spin it around completely, which also means that my sign here in the middle needs to spin around. So you can think about it like lifting a piece of paper up, flipping it over, and laying it back on the table. I'm going to rewrite this as u is less than or equal to negative 3. And so that's just my personal preference, folks, to have my variable on the left anytime that I'm working with inequalities. And you take special note, please notice that my inequality symbol flipped around when I spun the entire equation around. So it's like I lifted the equation up, I flipped it over, and I dropped it back down on the table. So this is going to be a much faster way of me solving or figuring out each one of these than it would be to put each number in and do it repeatedly, because I can just look for values that are less than or equal to negative 3. And so I can say, oh, look, hey, 9 is not less than or equal to negative 3. And it's taking it a moment to catch up. There we go. Okay. Negative 4, yes, that is less than negative 3. And negative 3, yes, that is less than or equal to negative 3. And 8 is not less than or equal to negative 3. So the other helpful thing here, folks, with having the variable on the left is if you're thinking about this in terms of a number line, let's say that 0 was right there, my negative 3 would be right here somewhere. My solution would be in the direction that the inequality symbol points. So I would have a closed circle here because we also have an equal sign there. And the symbol points to the left, so I would shade everything to the left. So the solutions are anything to the left of negative 3 on the number line. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next piece. That's how I would tackle that one. You can instead, if you want to, put those numbers in and simplify that thing multiple times, but it's totally your call. All right, so we're just asked to solve for x. This is pretty simple, very much like what we did when we were working with equations. Nothing really changes except for one little tiny tweak, which we'll talk about later. And not going to be pertinent for this problem. So we're going to add 15 to both sides. Negative 13 plus 15, the signs are different. I find the difference. The difference is 2. 15 is bigger, and it's positive, so my answer is positive. And that's going to be less than or equal to x. And again, for me personally, this is a correct answer right here. You could stop here. I would prefer myself to have the x on the left. So when I do that, my sign needs to be still pointing at the 2, as it is in the previous step. Again, it's like lifting the thing up, flipping it over, and dropping it down on the table. All right, that's it for that one. Moving to the next. So we are going to have, we have a plus 15 on the right, so we're going to subtract 15 from both sides. And we are going to get 11 minus 15. The signs are different. We find the difference. The difference is 4. 15 is bigger. It's negative. My answer is negative. And it's going to look like that. It's a terrible looking V. Okay, let's fix that really quick. That looks better. Okay, and for me personally, again, folks, I would choose to flip the darn thing over because I prefer to have the variable on the left side. And again, if you are a person who chooses to do that, remember that the sign also has to flip over in that instance. That's going to be it for number 1, 2, and 3. I'll leave this here for a moment and move to the next page. And it looks like we only have 6 problems. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so folks, the trick of doing these with multiplying everything by a common denominator, just like we did with equations, is going to work really well for us here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and see that I have fractions that I'm unhappy about that, and I'm going to do something about that. I know that 5 and 3 both go into 15, so I will multiply both sides of this equation by 15 over 1. And you will see that I get 15 over 1 w plus 60 over 5 is greater than negative 15 over 3. Okay, and I can go ahead and simplify my fractions now, so I will have 15w plus 4. Is that 4? 15 times a... No, 60 divided by 5 is not 4. Crazy Schlegel. 60 divided by 5 is 12. And that is going to be greater than negative 15 over 3, which is going to be negative 5. So now that we have that taken care of and we're dealing with whole numbers, that makes me much more happy. I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. And on the right side there, we see that the signs are the same. So we're going to find the sum. The sum of 12 and 5 is 17. Put the sign of the bigger number. 17 is negative. It's bigger. The answer is negative. And we're going to have 15w is greater than negative 17. So folks, we are going to divide by 15 here. And I'm getting close to running out of room, but that's okay because I'm done. W is greater than negative 17 over 15. And that's going to be it for that one, folks. I could have written a little bit smaller and made it a little bit more pretty, but that's okay. All right, moving on. This is where the little wacky with inequalities kind of comes in, folks. And there's one trick you have to remember when you're working with inequalities. And that trick is if I divide by a negative number, the inequality symbol flips over. Okay, so if we divide by a negative number, the inequality symbol flips over. That's the case right here, folks. We are going to be dividing by a negative 2. And so that inequality symbol right there is not going to be facing that direction anymore. That inequality symbol now is going to be pointing the other direction. And the reason for that is kind of weird, and we could go into it, but basically the best thing for you to do is just to remember, hey, when I divide by a negative number, I need to flip my inequality symbol over. Again, this is a correct answer the way it is. I prefer to have my variable on the left, so I would rewrite it like this. That's just me. You can leave it as 9 is greater than or equal to w if you would like to, though. All right, folks, the last one here. I am going to do the fraction trick because I hate fractions. So we're going to multiply everything. We only have one denominator, which is 7. So that makes it easy. We're going to multiply everything by 7 over 1. And so you will see that we get on the left side 42 is less than or equal to 9 times 7 is 63 over 7. Why? And so 63 divided by 7 is going to be 9. So we've got 42 is less than or equal to, I forgot my negative sign almost, negative 9. Why? And so again, we are going to be dividing by a negative number, so that inequality symbol is going to have to flip around. So divide by negative 9, divide by negative 9, and we get 42 over 9. And that's like huge. I'm going to try and write it a little bit smaller. Negative 42 over 9 is greater than or equal to. So again, the inequality symbol, I don't know why, my iPad disappeared. Let's try and fix that. Goofy thing. I'm going to pause the video for a moment, folks, while I try to get my iPad back on the screen. I'll be right back. All right, folks, goofy tech issues today is the name of the game. Okay, so we're on the last problem here. Let's punch it out. We had negative 42 over 9 is equal to, or sorry, greater than or equal to y. And I think Alex would not like that because I think both of those are divisible by 3. They are. So what we would have is we would have to take, I'm just going to rewrite the problem over here. We would have to divide both of those by 3, and we would get something like negative 14 over 3 is greater than or equal to y. And then again, for me, folks, I prefer to have the variable on the left side, so I would pick it up, flip it over, drop it back down, and I would get something that looks like this. Y is less than or equal to negative 14. I don't know why I'm having a hard time writing 14 today. 1/4 over 3. Darn, my iPad disappeared again. All right, everyone, so that's going to be it for this homework assignment. I believe that negative 14 over 3 is the correct gig there. And so with that, I hope this is helpful, and I hope that you have an awesome day.